The film opens on the island of Berk. Hiccup narrates how the island is practically uninhabitable, but the biggest problem is the dragons. The Vikings of Berk, led by Hiccup's father, Chief Stoik the Vast, rally together as a swarm of dragons attacks their village and begins stealing the sheep. Despite his hopes to join the other Vikings, Hiccup is seen as more of a liability. The other teens in the village, Snotlout, twins Roughnut and Toughnut, Fishlegs, and Astrid, the most revered of the young Vikings and the object of Hiccup's affections, lend their hand, trained under Gobber. Hiccup goes to one of his own inventions, a bola shooter. Up in the sky, a night fury, the most feared and mysterious of all the dragons, fires a blast at the village. Hiccup fires the bolas, which strikes the night fury. However, he draws the attention of another dragon, which chases him until Stoik bails him out by fighting it. The rest of the dragons fly away with the livestock they captured. Stoik expresses his annoyance with Hiccup's interference for disrupting their efforts to stop the dragon threat. Hiccup expresses to Gobber that he just wishes he could be like the rest of the Vikings. Stoik leads a council meeting between the other Vikings. They have been searching for the dragon's nest in hopes of wiping them out for good, but their lack of success has started to bring down their morale. After giving a rousing speech and listening to Elder Gothi's wisdom, Stoik rounds up his fleet to sail out. Before leaving, he has a heart-to-heart with Gobber about Hiccup's place in the tribe and worries that Hiccup does not have what it takes to do what they do. Gobber proposes that Stoik have Hiccup undergo dragon training with the other teens. Desperate to prove himself, Hiccup goes into the woods to try and find the Night Fury. He finds the dragon trapped in his net. Hiccup walks over and prepares to kill him, but after looking into his eyes and seeing the dragon accepting his fate, Hiccup instead decides to let the Night Fury go. The dragon roars in Hiccup's face before flying away, but its tail fin is damaged, preventing it from achieving full flight. When Hiccup returns home, Stoik tells him about his dragon training, which Hiccup is reluctant to start. Hiccup joins the other teens with Gobber in the trial of flame. The others, except Fishlegs, mock Hiccup for his lack of skill and for frequently proving himself an embarrassment. Hiccup fires back about Roughnut and Toughnut being held back in dragon training, and how Snotlout's name is dumber than his own. For their first challenge, Gobber has them face the gruesome Gronkle. The teens are outwitted by the dragon, which Gobber has to wrangle back into its cage. Hiccup returns to the woods to look for the Night Fury, and sees him struggling with his damaged tail. He tries to sketch the dragon, drops the pen, and the dragon looks at him, but does nothing. He later rejoins Gobber and the teens for dinner, where he hands them the Book of Dragons to study and understand the different types of dragons. Hiccup suggests to Astrid that there may be things about dragons that the Vikings do not understand, but Astrid, who plans to become chief someday, thinks Hiccup would just be standing in her way. Hiccup examines all the dragon pictures and finds out their different abilities, but he can't find a picture of the Night Fury. Stoik and his Vikings are sailing along a foggy part of the river. A small group of dragons proceeds to attack the fleet, prompting the Vikings to defend themselves. During their next round of training, the teens face the deadly Natter, which also proves challenging. During training, Hiccup asks how to sneak up on the Night Fury. Except for Astrid, everyone fails against the dragon. Hiccup finds the Night Fury alone and approaches him with a fish. Seeing the dragon's retractable teeth, Hiccup names him Toothless. Toothless pukes up the fish's head, offering it to Hiccup, who reluctantly eats it. When Hiccup tries to touch the dragon, he gets scared and moves away. When Hiccup draws something on the sand with a stick, Toothless copies him with a tree log. After spending more time together, Toothless allows Hiccup to place his hand upon his snout. Back at home, all the teens talk about the next day's training. Hiccup makes a prosthetic tail fin to attach to Toothless. The next day, Hiccup goes to Toothless with fish, but Toothless is scared of an eel. While Toothless is eating, Hiccup tries to attach the prosthetic fin, which helps him fly again, but Hiccup still needs to help him manage his trajectory. In their next round of training, the teens face the two-headed hideous Zippleback. While it chases the teens in the smoke clouds it emits, Hiccup surprises everyone by fending it off using a smoked eel, which he previously saw that Toothless recoiled at. Everybody is surprised at how Hiccup did it. Hiccup spends more time with Toothless in secret, trying to help him fly better, while also learning more about handling the other dragons. He causes the Gronkle to get thrown off by its allergies. On the next training day, he scratches the Natter's neck to make it more docile. This makes him more popular with Snotlout, Fishlegs, Roughnut, and Toughnut, but it makes Astrid more suspicious of Hiccup. He later uses a reflected light to subdue the tiny terrible terror, which bites Toughnut's nose. Elder Gothy also notices Hiccup's improvements. One day, Astrid tries to follow Hiccup, but he vanishes into the forest. Hiccup gets a cheat sheet to help him with Toothless as they take to the skies. Stoic returns to Berk with the remainder of his fleet and is surprised to hear about how well Hiccup has been doing. They get high enough to fly across the land, but Hiccup loses the sheet in midair, causing him and Toothless to fall. Once Hiccup regains control of Toothless, he throws the sheet away and lets his instincts guide him, and the two begin to soar and fly freely. After expressing great pride in his son, Stoic gifts a Viking hat for his bravery and informs Hiccup that he must kill a dragon for his final test. The next day in training, Stoic watches his son and sees him subduing the dragon. Elder Gothy names Hiccup as the top dragon slayer, so Hiccup must kill a dragon. Hiccup tries to run away with Toothless, but Astrid follows him to their hiding spot and discovers the Night Fury. Scared, Astrid runs from them, but Hiccup and Toothless bring her along for a ride to prove that Toothless is harmless. Toothless scares Astrid while flying, but once Astrid tells Toothless she is sorry, he becomes more gentle and allows her to experience flight as Hiccup did. Moments later, Toothless flies towards an island alongside other dragons. They return to their nest, where Hiccup and Astrid find their queen, the Red Death. After one Gronkle fails to bring sufficient food, the Red Death emerges and devours the dragon. They fly back to Berk, where Astrid wants to inform the other Vikings they found the nest, but Hiccup fears that will mean they will kill Toothless, and she kisses him. The next day, Stoic tells how Hiccup became a dragon slayer today from being a coward and is proud of him. Everybody cheers when Hiccup enters the stadium to fight the dragon. Hiccup is pitted against the monstrous nightmare, which can set itself on fire. As Hiccup tries to show the Vikings that the dragon is not dangerous, Stoic causes the monstrous nightmare to go berserk and start running around. Toothless senses this and flies into the arena to fight the other dragon to protect Hiccup. The other Vikings intervene, subduing and capturing Toothless despite Hiccup's protests. Stoic pulls Hiccup away and argues with him over breaking from tradition, but Hiccup says it is time they stop killing dragons. He accidentally lets slip that he found the nest and that Toothless can guide the Vikings there. When he tries to stop Stoic, Stoic disowns his son. The Vikings sail to the dragon's nest with captured Toothless as a navigator. After the Vikings set off, Astrid finds Hiccup alone. He laments the situation he has put his best friend in, and how the Vikings are walking into a trap. After Astrid encourages him, Hiccup gathers the other 4 teens, and has them take the captive dragons so they may fly towards the nest and save Toothless and everyone else. In the middle of the ocean, they lose their way, but Toothless senses the other dragons, and Stoic turns the ship in their direction. The Vikings arrive outside the nest's location on the Dragon Island. Stoic orders them to break through the walls with their weapons. After breaking it open, all the dragons fly away from the nest. The Queen of the Dragons, Red Death, emerges and begins to incinerate the Viking ships. Stoic orders everyone to move to the far side and slings a large rock at the queen dragon. The teens arrive with their dragons to draw attention away from the Vikings. Hiccup goes to free Toothless, and even Snotlout's dad, Spitlout, appears proud of his son for the first time. Stoic, after witnessing his son become a leader, breaks Toothless from his restraints after the ship sinks underwater. Stoic apologizes to Hiccup and lets him and Toothless take care of business. Hiccup and Toothless fly high and fire a blast at the Red Death to draw it into the skies. Astrid tries to distract the queen, but it catches the tail of the dragon she is riding. Astrid breaks the queen's teeth to free the dragon, jumps out of the queen's mouth, and Toothless rescues her. Toothless and Hiccup fly into the clouds, and the queen follows them. They get high above the clouds. Toothless ambushes the queen, blasting her. The Red Death fires a huge flame blast, which causes the tail fin prosthetic to start burning up. Thinking quickly, Hiccup and Toothless dive, with the Red Death following. Hiccup commands Toothless to fire a blast inside the Red Death's mouth, causing it to burn up and crash into the side of the mountain, where it explodes into a giant fireball. Hiccup falls into the blast, and Toothless swoops in to grab him. Stoic goes searching for Hiccup and finds the fallen Toothless. When the flames clear, the Vikings gather at the fallen Toothless. Stoic is remorseful for what he said to Hiccup and begins to mourn his son until Toothless reveals he saved Hiccup. Stoic and the other Vikings cheer for Hiccup being alive. Hiccup wakes up days later back at home, finding that he has lost his right foot and now wears a prosthetic. He finds Toothless greeting him, and is later surprised to see that his father and all the Vikings flew back home to Berk with the dragons. Now, everyone on the island has become friendly with the creatures. Astrid finds Hiccup and kisses him, initiating their new relationship. Dauber comes out with a new fin for Toothless, allowing him and Hiccup to fly again. The teens then take their creatures up to the skies to fly around the island. Hiccup's narration concludes that while Berk is still not a great place to live, and any food grown in Berk is tasteless, the best thing about it would be dragons.
Please like and subscribe.